nothing can be more shocking. Kerry Collins hasn't played good football in 4 years, and he's making this horrific. Justin Gage, Bo Scaife, their tight end, is the backup tight end, is their leading receiver. Kerry Collins, the fact that he's gotten up, they beat a Jacksonville team, a team many people thought would make the Super Bowl week 1 in the AFC. They beat Houston this week, a team ESPN picked to make the playoffs, a sleeper team. In between that, they crushed the Cincinnati Bengals on the road. Kerry Collins is the quarterback of this team right now. They lost their franchise player in week 1. They've overcome that whole Vince Young depression saga, whatever you want to call it. Buffalo's a great story, but they have Marshawn Lynch. Tennessee doesn't have a running back like Lynch. Tennessee has no receivers. Buffalo has Lee Evans. So, I mean, Kerry Collins is the quarterback there. This is a Tennessee team that no one in that division, probably the best division in the AFC coming into the season, no one expected Tennessee to be undefeated.
I don't think that people expect them to be undefeated, but I do think that people expect them to at least be a middle-of-the-pack team. And I think that it eventually is what you can
that's
get
what
out
people thought
of
about
it.
Buffalo. Buffalo signed Marcus Stroud and Kawika Mitchell, 2 very good defensive signings. And this was a Buffalo team. Trent Edwards, at the end of last year, showed that he could lead this team, not J.P. Lossman. Not to mention, there's a reason Buffalo's 3-0, and it's the division they play in. That's why they're in first place. The Patriots looked awful. The Dolphins, while they beat the Patriots, are awful. And the Jets are 1-1 and almost lost to the Dolphins. There's a reason Buffalo's in first place. Tennessee was not expected to be there in a division with Indy and Jackson.
Here's my question. Why did neither of you pick Baltimore? They're undefeated. They're 2-0.
They're 2-0, but you know what? Joe Flacco's been good, not great. They haven't done anything to prove it to me. Tennessee beating Jacksonville and the way they have dominated Kerry Collins. I need to remind people that Kerry Collins is leading a team of nobodies to 3-0.
And God, it's hard because I don't think either one of these teams was really expected to be great. But I still think Buffalo, I mean, they're one of those teams that hasn't done anything in a long time. And for them to come out like this, and I also think that we can expect at least one more win again for them, week 4 against the Rams.
I hope they don't go 4-12.
Quite possibly another one in the next week against Arizona. So I think
Arizona's been pretty good this year.
No, Arizona's been pretty good. And surprisingly, I think that could be an interesting game. Who thought Arizona Buffalo Bills was going to be a decent game to watch? But I just think that Buffalo has really, for whatever reason, been able to step it up. I mean, and they also beat Jacksonville.
I think there's shock value to the fact that Tennessee is 3-0 in what's everybody considered to be the best division in the AFC. We saw it last year because 2 teams from the AFC South made the playoffs last year. Tennessee, they've done it all. Buffalo had the defensive signing, still has a better running back, and we saw what Trent Edwards had done at the end of last year. If Vince Young were quarterbacking this team to 3-0, it'd be a different story. But it's Kerry Collins quarterbacking this team. That, to me, is the biggest surprise. That's not being talked about, at least.
All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap it up. I mean, Baltimore. The fact that Baltimore even won 1 game, I think, is pretty shocking. But you know, both these teams were picked kind of generally 8-8, 7-9, somewhere in that general range. And just with the added bonus of the whole Vince Young, Kerry Collins thing, I mean, Kerry Collins?
He's atrocious. He's supposed to be atrocious.
So with all that put together, I think I've got to give the edge to Tennessee and Julian. However, Katie, you've still won 3 rounds, so today you are unstoppable.
Thank you, Max.
You've been
Good to be back. It's good to be back.
You've been waiting to hear that for a long time. I've seen your G-Chat message. Okay, so we're going to go back and pick up the answer to our last trivia question, which is, who is the NFL's single-season leader in yards per reception? Answer is Jimmy Orr, who at age 23 averaged 27.6 yards per reception in 1958 for Pittsburgh. So, name you probably haven't heard, but someone you should remember in case anyone ever asked you that on the street. Who is the NFL's single-season record holder for all-purpose yards is our next question. We'll answer that right after we go through rapid fire. Once again, we'll go through a couple NFL games, and then we'll pick up on some NCAA games. First up is Washington at 2-1, visiting Dallas at 3-0. Can we find an upset?
No, there's no upset here. Washington's looked good at home at FedEx Field. Not going to be able to do it at Dallas. Romo, Owens, Witten, Barber, too much. They beat the Redskins. They go 4-0.
I think Dallas played well against Green Bay, got their defense in gear, and there's no way they're going to lose this one at home.
Well, just because you said there's no way, now they're going to find a way. But
I've got a good track record on these. Watch it.
Next up, we're gonna go to the battle for the top of the AFC North. We've got Pittsburgh at 2-1 after that loss to the Eagles, hosting the Baltimore Ravens.
I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh. They're going to be coming back from this tough loss against Philly, and I think they're going to come back hard at home, and that as long as their offensive line can hold off the Baltimore defense, I think they're going to be fine.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I think the Steelers, even with the questions surrounding Big Ben's shoulder and all of that, this is not a very good Baltimore team. They're going to get to Flacco, whoever they throw out running back, Baltimore, Pittsburgh's 3-4 defense gets them. Pittsburgh wins this one.
Next up, we're going to go to the undefeated Tennessee Titans hosting the could be undefeated, but instead are 1-2 Minnesota Vikings.
I'm going to go with Minnesota on this one. I think that Adrian Peterson, the Vikings, they put on, they're going to put an end to the whole Tennessee 3-0 thing. Not happening anymore. They're going to be 3-1 by the end of this.
Tennessee, still a better defense this year than Minnesota. They go to 4-0 this year because their aging quarterback, Kerry Collins, is better than Minnesota's aging quarterback, Gus Frerotte. You know what? I'm taking Tennessee's defense to shut down Peterson. Tennessee, at home, goes 4-0.
Just say the word Gus Frerotte versus Kerry Collins, and that's the
scary
one
thought.
quarterback that you might actually pick.
That sounds like the
Kerry
game
Collins.
you played in Madden 2002 when you were picking quarterbacks, not
or
this
that
year.
I have in Blitz on N64 that I
go.
play in my room.
It's all the same.
We've got last NFL game, Philly 2-1 going into Chicago 1-2.
You know, the Bears let one slip away last week, and unfortunately, again, I think they're going to lose back-to-back home games. I want to pick the Bears at home here. The Eagles look very good. McNabb looks sharp. They should have won the game at Dallas. They came away with a big win here at home against the Steelers. They look dominant, so I want to pick the Eagles in this one.
I think that Chicago is going to be looking to rebound after their loss to Tampa Bay, but Philly's going to come out. They're going to come out really strong on defense, I think, and with their confidence from the most recent game, and I think that they'll pull it out over Chicago.
All right, we got to make this a little bit more rapid here as we go through these games. First up in the NCAA, we're going to go Big Ten. Illinois, number 21-22 at 2-1, going into number 12, 4-0 Penn State.
You know, Penn State has looked very sharp on offense the past few weeks. They haven't played much. They played Temple, speaking of A-10 football. And the Illini just haven't been able to get Juice Williams or really has been on the same page. Paterno's boys win this one this week at home.
I'm going to agree. They've looked good on offense, and I think they're going to take this one home.
All right, well, Penn State hasn't really shown anything yet, though, so we'll see. This is their
There's
first real
Illinois.
test. So next up, we got number 8, Alabama, 4-0, going to number 3, Georgia, also 4-0.
I think you have Alabama, that's a solid top 10 team, but then you have Georgia, who's a better top 3 team, and Georgia's going to take it.
Yeah, I'll admit, I wasn't sold on Georgia's ability last week. They went into the desert in Arizona. They beat Arizona State. No Sean Moreno, beats Glenn Coffey. Mark Wright at home beats Nick Saban.
All right, we got one more pick, just the teams. We got Tennessee going to number 15-16, Auburn, 3-1.
The Auburn lost against the LSU Tigers. They're not going to lose again at home. They beat a reeling Tennessee team.
I agree. Big rebound against Wallace.
All right, we're out of time. We're going to have to go to our last trivia question, which is who is the NFL's single-season record holder for all-purpose yards? Answer is Derek Mason with the Titans in 2000. He had 2,690 yards. And we'll have one more trivia question for you, which you can answer by sending us an email at gw-tv@gwu.edu. Who is the NFL's career leader in extra points made? Again, gw-tv@gwu.edu. Send us that answer. We've already had a winner from each of the last 2 weeks. They're on the website. You could be too. So make sure you get your answer in. Katie, Julian, thank you for joining me. Great show once again. Tune in next time to find out who is unstoppable.